Hello and welcome to my channel. This is the story time of the year that I spent in prison. It's very wild. I've talked about this before on YouTube, but I had to archive that video. That video is long gone and so many of you wanted the full story, so here it is. I tell the story in the hope that I will deter some 19-year-old out here somewhere that wants to do the same thing that I did. I know it's cause he lives, yeah? I know it's cause he lives, but don't do it. It's not worth it, darling. It's not worth it, all right? You ain't gonna get away with it. You'll get caught and you will go to jail and it's not gonna be fun, okay? And if you don't go to jail, it will still ruin your life, so just don't bother, okay? So this all started in 2011 when I was 19, and at the time, I had like a best friend slash... well, he ended up being my boyfriend later down the line, but initially we were just like really good friends. He was my daughter's godfather, and that's how it all started. Fun fact, like 99.9% of the women I met in prison were in prison due to some connection with a man. So it could have been a boyfriend, husband, son, dad. Like there's always a man involved, unfortunately. Now this friend of mine, let's call him Bobby. Okay, and I know a lot of people might start off thinking that Bobby's like a bad guy. He's not a bad guy, okay? He wasn't a bad guy then either. He was all right. Bobby did some really nice, wonderful, fantastic, magnificent things for me that not a lot of people would have done. And he also shared his wonderful best friend with me. And for the purposes of the story, we're gonna call him Mike. One day, Bobby and I were sitting at a bus stop in Vauxhall, and I remember he started to say something to me about doing some sort of fraud. I was just so uninterested. I was like, baby, don't tell me, because I'd kind of dabbled a little bit, and that time of dabbling was the most stressful time of my life. And I said, me never again, please. I don't want to know nothing about it. So I didn't want to hear anything. If you are the same age as me, so I'm 31 now, if you are the same age as me, you probably did one little AC when you were in college where somebody came up to you and said, give me your card and I can get you some money on it. I tried to do it and things didn't go well, and like things had happened in it. So I'd had my fair share of little experiences here and there, and I just did not want to go down that road again. So I was like, baby, no, is not for me. Yeah, fast forward a couple months, maybe a couple weeks from that time when he mentioned it to me. I didn't obviously check how it was going because I didn't want to know, but I was living alone by this point. I was living with Talia. It was just me and my daughter Talia in this nice 2-bedroom house that my mum was kind enough to pay for. She paid the deposit for me to move in. It was a rental property. She didn't buy it. It was rental. And during this time, I had postnatal depression. For you stay-at-home mums, you guys are the real MVPs, because it is not easy. Right now as well, I'm kind of doing the stay-at-home mum thing since December, and I've been doing it for 5 months, and I'm ready to go back to work. I cannot deal. I cannot. It's a no from me, yeah, because these children, they will run you rugged, okay? But at the time, it's not that Talia was running me rugged, but I had the depression, and when your only company is a 1-year-old that you have to tell to do things and you have to clean up after, it's just exhausting. So when Bobby used to come over, he'd come over for like the day. It was supposed to be the day. Maybe he'd sleep over, and then it just ended up being like, oh, come for 2 days. Oh, look, you've got a pair of shoes here. Oh, just move in. And it just kind of happened to be that when I moved out and I was by myself with Talia, he was having issues with his family and they kind of wanted him out of their house. And so he was like, hey, how about I move in? And I was like, yes, thank the Lord, come. Now, I was also like, thank the Lord, because I loved him. I really like, oh my gosh, did I love him. I just thought he was the best thing ever. The sun literally grew from his butthole in my mind. It was like everything good comes from him. He was just, I just thought he was, this sounds like a cult. Bobby the cult. I was very happy that he wanted to move in because, yes, I did get medicated for the depression and anxiety. I was on citalopram and propranolol, but I much prefer the drug of Bobby. So yeah, he moved in within a few months of me living by myself. Bobby at the time was the sort of person that could be alone for days on end. He'd be a fantastic candidate for solitary confinement because he loves his own company so much. Me, on the other hand, I literally wanted to live underneath his ball sack. So that kind of was not useful because, like, I want to live inside of you. I want us to be one person. Let's share blood. Let's actually just share blood. Let's just be one person. But he likes his own company. So I think that was one of the things that caused our a lot of tension in the relationship, that I was so like needy and he was so kind of like, ew, get off me. After living in this new place for a few months, the bills started to pile up. Council tax, water, electricity, Sky, this, that, they were like, all the bills started to come in and it was just too much. I could not manage anymore. At the same time as me not managing, I'm noticing like he started to dress a bit fancy. He was wearing like Moncler socks and Moncler jacket and Pradas, and I thought to myself, something's going on here. And he did say to me it was the fraud, and I think he knew I was struggling and he wasn't actually offering me any money to stay in the house. He sometimes would contribute to like food, and if I wanted to buy like some new curtains, he would like help out with that. But for the most part, it was basically me paying all the bills, or avoiding the debt collectors, should I say. There would be times I would literally cry and beg him, please don't do this, you're gonna go to jail, please, what will I do if you go to jail? Like, I was a whole mess, always begging him to stop, and he just like would trivialize the whole thing, and he just saw it as like a big joke.
What, fam? Niggas go to jail every day, me, are you dumb? Like, if I go to jail, it's calm, it's actually calm. Like, just deep it for 1 second, yeah, deep it for 1 second, yeah. If man goes to jail, it's free gym. Man's gonna come out looking sexy. Hey,
Nothing frustrated me more because I was just thinking, how will I marry if you go to prison? So stupid. Another thing that was frustrating to me is that he is, or he was at the time, one of the smartest people I'd ever come across. So I just couldn't understand, why can't you apply the same fantastic brains of yours to like something that was legit? But he was enjoying, and he was not trying to stop at all. Not at all. So I think it got to the point where one day he could see that I was actually really struggling with the bills, and he said to me,
you know, could be a sort of line manager, you know, I can hook you up with that position of line manager.
And I was just like, no, stop this immediately. I don't even want you to do it. Don't try and drag me in. But of course, slowly but surely, he managed to rope me in. So he had a friend, for the purposes of this video, we're going to call that friend Chuck. And Chuck worked for the NHS. And basically, Chuck would get people's details, and we would make an employment support allowance claim with these people's details and would backdate it 12 weeks, so that way it would be like a large amount of money in one go. And basically I used to make the phone calls, and I used to get paid per call. Every time they needed a female voice, it was my voice that they would use. I actually don't remember the first couple times I did the fraud. I don't remember any of it. I don't remember the day that I decided, yeah, I'm gonna do it. But I just remember being able to like breathe from under this mountain of debt that was growing. And I remember just feeling like, oh phew, I can pay some bills. I can pay that bill too. Oh, I can pay that bill as well. And I've got a little bit left over. Let me go buy some food for this house. And then I kind of went from that to like, oh, my birthday's coming up, I need to get my hair done. Let me just do a little bit for this. But in my mind, I was always just doing a little bit, because in my mind, if we're ever going to get caught, I don't want to go to jail. So if I need to do a little bit, I can't get locked up. I just want to do a little bit. But that little bit kind of spanned over the course of like 2 years. Bobby and Mike, they went to like Miami. They lived it up in Miami. They were staying in Fontainebleau. They saw a couple celebrities. I think they said that they saw like Wale. At this time, Bobby was driving like an X6 and a CLS, a 2013 plate, by the way. So it was like new stuff. Like, they were really enjoying life. Initially, like I said, I was just trying to survive. But then I wanted a taste of the high life too. So, you know, but not too high, okay? Because I don't want to go to jail in case we get caught, yeah? So I'm like, okay, I need my hair done. My birthday is coming. Let me buy some hair. Then it's like, oh, I need my nails done. Let me just do a bit. I need this, that, the other. And I would just do it just for like little bits here and there. Oh, I need £400 today. Let me make a couple calls. It was that sort of thing. But obviously there's a cycle that begins when you do that. So if you're getting money fast, you get the money, you pay the necessary things, then you get a bit more money, then you spend that money and on ridiculous rubbish, and then because you're not actually making any proper income, you then start that loop again where you need money to survive and you pay those things to survive. Then it's like, oh, some enjoyment. Oh, okay, hold on, wait. Then you're back to let me do some stuff to survive. Okay, wait, enjoy. Oh, survive, enjoy. And it just then continues to be that cycle, and then before you know it, you're just like a full-blown fraudster. I'm a Christian and I have grown up in church. I've been going to church my whole life, but during this time I was kind of like on off, not really going but kind of going. That's even where I met Bobby, in church. One day I went to go and visit my church that I grew up in, and the pastor, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not saying he's a bad pastor, but I'm just saying I never really took in any of his messages like growing up. However, this one day that I just randomly decided to go to church, I remember sitting there and he starts preaching, and he was like preaching about something like, I don't know, like prayer. I don't even know what he was preaching about. It was something like prayer, for example. And then out of nowhere, he just like breaks off from that topic and he says, and you know, you're just getting money fast. Yeah, you're getting money the illegal way. You're having sex out of marriage. You're doing this, you're doing that. Da, 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 and God is not pleased with you. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, this is scary. Has God told him to say this to me? Like, I legit felt that way. Because he literally was just talking. It's like he had a camera in my house and could see everything that was going on. And I just thought, this is uncomfortable, isn't it? So I had the feeling that day like I should stop. And I think the day before or the week before, I'd had like some mad dream where we'd like gone to prison or something. It was something to do with the fraud and us getting caught, and there were just all these little things that kept happening that just made me feel like I wanted to stop. And I remember that night I was crying and I was begging Bobby. I was like, please, we have to stop. I feel like God said me to stop, and he was just like,
no, you can stop if you want to, but man's got to chase his peas, get me?
So with that, I would kind of like stop for like a week or two, and then I'll start again until someone's birthday. It was a mutual friend's birthday, and me and Mike were in a Hummer limo. Bobby was supposed to come, but he didn't come, and he was gallivanting with one of his millions of girlfriends. And so me and Mike were in this Hummer limo. This is in the middle of someone's birthday, and obviously the drinks are flowing. They're really, really flowing, yeah. And out of nowhere, Mike just says to me, do you know what? Someone's been watching us. The police have been watching us. I know they have. I've seen them outside my house. I know they've been watching. We're gonna go to jail. Now I'm just like, what? Where is this even coming from? And now I'm just like, don't say that. And he was like, yeah, we're gonna go to jail, but you're gonna be fine. You stay out here and you look after Tanya. You're a good mom. Da, da, da. And he's just like saying all of these mad things about how he's going to jail. And I just can't even process what he's saying, but I'm like crying and I'm like, okay. In the middle of someone's birthday. I think it wasn't even like a week, and I was calling Bobby, and Bobby not so much, but Mike is a very responsive person. He used to be a very responsive person, where if you call him, he'd answer straight away. If not, he'd message you straight away. He'll message you back if you message him again straight away. But I'm like calling him, texting him, he's not answering, he's not responding, neither is Bobby. Like, none of them are, they're just, and because they used to drive really wild, and Bobby used to like drink drive. I actually thought maybe they got into some sort of car accident. That was my initial thought. And then come like 5-6 o'clock, Bobby calls me and he tells me, we've been arrested. Yeah, I'm at this and that jail. Can you come pick me up? And I was just like, oh my gosh. Went to go and pick him up, and he stayed at my house that night. And then the next day we literally, well, during the night actually, we took all the evidence that was still in my room and we went like driving in the area, just like throwing like SIM cards out the window and ripping stuff and throwing them in different bins all around Croydon. This was like my worst nightmare coming true, that they had been arrested. And I just remember feeling like so sad. He actually took me to my driving test that day as well, the next day, and I failed because I was so distraught. And I just remember crying and crying the whole day, and he just kept saying, don't cry, man, it's fine, we'll be all right, we'll be fine. But I was just like, no, what am I gonna do without you guys? Ha. Obviously, like I said, I was devastated, really sad for them, really like heartbroken. But for myself, I was like, ooh, thank you, God, because you have saved me from prison. I'm not built for that, so thank you, God. Yeah, good looking out. It wasn't even a month later, and I went to Tesco and I did a little £18 shop. My card got declined, and I was like, oh, strange, because I actually have money in there. So then I called the bank, and they said, you should come to the bank and speak to someone. So I went to the bank, and when I got there, I was waiting for somebody to come and speak to me, but they'd already like looked up my thingy on the system, and they said, okay, someone's coming out to speak to you. Then another lady who was next to the cashier lady, while I was sitting down and waiting, she came over to me and she said to me, listen to me, if I were you, I would leave this bank right this second. Don't turn around, just leave right now, go to a different bank, open a new account, and just pretend this account never existed. And I was just like, oh, okay, fine. So I left. She said to me, she actually did mention, like, she said something to do with HMRC, and I was just like, oh, but that's not even got anything to do with me. I don't know what that's all about. And she was just like, yeah, just go, stop, just go. Thinking about it now, maybe they actually called the police then and there. I don't know, because the way she told me to leave was quite like with a lot of urgency. Anyway, I went to Barclays, opened an account, and I didn't think anything of it. But that night, if you've made it this far, you need to subscribe and like the video. Okay, continue watching. Doof, doof, doof. The police came. My mum happened to be awake that day, so she actually opened the door at like 5 a.m. and then they came. I was like naked in my bedroom. I was like that. They came to the door, and then they were like, get dressed, and I was like, okay. They took all my stuff, my phone, my MacBook, my passport, my mum's laptop. Like, they just were taking everything. When we got to the police station, my solicitor was there. I didn't have a solicitor, but it was actually Bobby and Mike's solicitor who'd come, and when they were questioning me, they were trying to like kind of pin other things on there that were not actually fraudulent money, and they were trying to say it was. And when I was trying to clear it up, the solicitor, he kept kicking me. I wasn't really allowed to talk. I wasn't obviously going to snitch on anyone, but I was just trying to clear up some of the stuff that was clearly not fraud. And then when they left the room, he just said to me, shut your bloody mouth, you're going to get yourself into more trouble. And then I was released on bail, and we were on bail for almost 3 years. Now, during that time, I worked in loads of different places. Around 2014, when we went to court the first time, I did end up having my picture taken by paparazzi. I saw one and I thought to myself, I'm not going to cover my face because you don't even know why I'm here. You don't know me. I'm not a celebrity. Why would you be interested in taking a picture of me? And as I was walking, I don't know, I just had the thought in my head, cover your face. So I literally grabbed my phone like that. And in the picture, you can see that is me. If you didn't know me super well, you wouldn't have looked at that picture straight away and known it was me. So when I went for job interviews and things, I wasn't scared that people would recognize me. I think Mike actually ended up losing one of his, he had 2 jobs. I think he ended up losing both in the end, but he lost his job. I was cool. I managed to stay where I was working, and I managed to continue to get jobs. I went on holiday. I got a new passport. I went on a holiday. Like, I did stuff during that time. Now, approaching 2016, I pled guilty because the judge kind of, like, basically, the amount of evidence that they had against us was insurmountable. Okay, it was too much. It was too much. There was audio clips of me making the claims. You could hear Talia in the background. Like, how can I deny it's me? Like, it was just, everything was laid out there, especially because Bobby, who never backed up anything and he used to be like the most scatty person, he had gone and backed up his phone and his laptop. No, he had backed up his phone on his laptop, and the whole fraud was detailed in his messages, and it was on the laptop, and they took the laptop. So they knew what was going on. So my solicitors and barristers and everyone was just telling me, just plead guilty, because you ain't gonna, like, this is not going to go anywhere. you're guilty. We can all see you're guilty. So just plead guilty and you'll actually get some favor from the judge and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so I ended up pleading guilty. And the day that I was supposed to be sentenced, I ended up being in hospital with really bad tonsillitis and suspected meningitis. And so, yeah, I didn't end up going to court. A week before I went in for my sentencing, or 2 weeks before, I went to meet probation for what they call a pre-sentence report, where she just basically detailed like my life and what I do and like how my life is going. And the whole point of it is to just see like, am I a risk? Am I going to do this again? Am I likely to be a repeat offender and things like that? And she had concluded that no, this is probably a one-off and I probably wouldn't do it again. So she recommended a suspended sentence. Now, everyone around me was telling me, don't worry, you're going to get suspended sentence. They're never going to send you to jail. Because at the time, Talia was 5. And this had been such a long time since the initial fraud was committed. It just didn't seem to make a lot of sense to send me to prison. So everyone thought I would just get a suspended sentence. However, the probation officer did say to me that the judges never listened to them. So I don't know. I kind of thought maybe I might go. The day before I went for my sentencing, I did tell Talia, like, I might be going somewhere away for work, but I'll be back. But I might be going somewhere. And she kind of was just like, okay, sure. I kind of said it to my mum like the day before, Mum, I might be going to jail, possibly, maybe, probably not. And I kind of said it to my sister as well, like, oh, you may have to look after my child for a bit because I'm going to prison possibly. But I didn't kind of like want to say it properly, and I didn't really want to talk about it with my family at the time. So the next day when it was time to go to court for my sentencing, I didn't want my mum to come because I didn't want her to see, just in case, you know, it didn't go well. And so my auntie took me and my sister came as well, and some people from church. And basically the judge then turns around and says, when it's time to sentence me, how old was your daughter when you commit this crime? Oh, she was 1.5. Okay, well, you didn't think about her when you committed this crime, so I'm not going to think about her either. We're going to start the ruling at 4 years. I screamed. I screamed so much. I've never scrumped that loud in my life, okay? I was crying. I had a whole panic attack. And they took me downstairs. And I didn't even hear my sentence. But apparently, not apparently, of course I know now. But basically, I got some time off the 4 years for pleading guilty. And then I got some more time off for this being my first offense. So yeah, I got 2.5 years, and thus began my journey in prison. I'll talk about how prison was in another video because that's a whole nother video all by itself. But one question I get asked a lot is who Talia was with. During that time, my lovely mother darling, my mother dearest, she looked after Talia with my sister. And yeah, so like social services and stuff, they were never involved at all actually. And yeah, that is it. So I know that y'all gonna be wondering what prison was like. I will do a video about that. The next one will be about that. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section, and I will definitely answer all the questions that you guys have. Thank you for watching. I will be making more videos. I just need to pull my finger out, you know. Yeah, so I'll get to it. All right, thank you for watching. Bye.